Coppinger. Deputy Coppinger.
Thank you, Cairn Corla. Minister, I wanted to ask if the Government is going to reconsider its policy in relation to misoprostol and mifepristone, which are safe pills that can be used for medical abortions. And the reason I'm asking this is that currently Customs is seizing these drugs ordered by women online, through women on web, prescribed by doctors. And I think that in years to come we will cringe and look back on this policy, where we're censoring and preventing women access to safe health care.
Minister.
The Health Products Regulatory Authority is the competent authority for the regulation of medicines in Ireland. Under the Medical Products Prescription and Control of Supply Regulation 2003, as amended, the mail-order supply of prescription medicine is prohibited. The HPRA is, in cooperation with Revenues Customs Service in the period 2011 to 2014, seized a total of 2,577 tablets containing the medicines in question, 138 importations. I have arranged to provide a breakdown year by year to the Deputy. There are significant public health concerns associated with the purchase of prescription medicines over the internet. There is no guarantee as to the safety, quality or efficacy of medicines purchased online. Medicines purchased in this matter are often found to be counterfeit or with inadequate labelling or product information. In addition, any prescription medicine should be taken by a patient only when it was prescribed for them by their medical practitioner or other appropriate health professional who has taken the person's medical history into account. It is illegal to procure an abortion in Ireland outside of the circumstances in the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act 2013, which regulates access to lawful termination of pregnancy in accordance with the X case and the judgment of the European Court of Human Rights in the A, B and C case in versus Ireland.
Deputy Coppinger.
Minister, the Government, because of the position of the 8th Amendment, etc., has banned these pills from this country. And who are the women who are looking for these pills? They're our sisters. They're our cousins, our friends, our neighbours. They're ordinary women who've been driven to desperation because they have a crisis pregnancy. So if the Government is banning abortion in this country, would you at least let these women access, via the internet, these pills? Let them take their chances, because what's happening now is that doctors are having to sit in surgeries hand-holding women and telling them that they'll help them after if there's a problem. Can I remind you, up until the 1980s, contraception was illegal in this country. I remember people had to sneak around back streets looking for family planning clinics. Can I remind you as well, vasectomies were illegal. Doctors had to illegally perform them in order to challenge the law. And can I remind you as well, homosexuality was illegal. These are laws that we look back on now and say that they were a disgrace. And in a few years' time, we look back on this and say it was a disgrace.
Minister.
I think the Deputy knows my position on this, but the law is that you cannot buy prescription medicine over the internet. I think I would have concerns about it, I would have to tell you that. And the concerns would be for the health and the life of the women that are driven to these desperate measures. But that is the law, and it is the law as laid down by the people. It was a referendum and the people spoke very clearly. I'm sure that the next government will take a different view in relation to that referendum, but right now that is the law, and the Customs and Excise are simply implementing that law. And I do think that it is quite extraordinary that people have to be driven to these measures, but equally I do have concerns about ordering this type of prescription medicine over the internet. And if you take a look, as I have done, at the background information on it, sometimes it's not as identified on the packaging, which concerns me as well.
Believe me, I have looked at it. I've looked at it in depth, and the reason I've looked at it is that women contact me regularly about this issue. And can I remind you that the women who have to resort to this are the poorest women, illegal immigrants, people who can't afford to shell out €1,000 or €1,500 to go abroad for a surgical abortion. But can I also reassure you that doctors who are prescribing these pills for women on web are not reckless. There's a 1% danger, less than Viagra, safer than driving a car. So let women take their chances if you haven't got the guts or the courage to change and allow people to repeal the 8th Amendment. And can I also say that there's an excellent article written by a doctor.
Sorry, this is question time. Would you put questions?
Julie Besson.
Thank you.
And she makes the point that in the not too distant future we will look back on the shameful ban on contraception, divorce, homosexuality, movies like The Life of Brian. And now, can you at least tell customs to stop preventing people ordering packages online? Can you at least do that? Why are you perpetuating this disgraceful ban?
Thank you.
And also, you'll have a third chance now to repeal the 8th Amendment in a bill on May the 8th that has been moved by myself and Deputy Joe Higgins. And I hope it's not a case of Labour 3 times rejecting women's autonomy over their bodies.
Could I tell you that it is not within the gift or the power of any minister to tell an agent or an arm of the state not to abide by the law. That's not what you do, and it simply cannot be done. Customs and Excise are simply implementing the law as it exists. And the law as it exists is in line with the constitutional imperative, and that constitutional imperative, Deputy Coppinger, I know you don't take much notice of what the people decide in referendum, but the Labour Party does, and the constitutional imperative was decided by the people, and I know that's not something that you have any great grow for, but that was the decision of the people.
Thank you. Question number